today's webinar. Today we'll be talking about Microsoft CRM and ThinkWare's take on Microsoft CRM. We have an integrated CRM with our back office. The focus today will be just simply basic navigation of using CRM within the system. So using when you first sign in, how to maneuver through the system and how to find things in the system itself. So one thing I always stress when using CRM is ease of use and ease of getting into the system is important. So while CRM is simply a website, I like to think of it more as just kind of an application, or that's why I kind of keep a link to that application right here front and center on my desktop as an icon. Fully optional, but just an easy way for your users to get into the system. Simply double clicking it always opens it up, the system. And while it's kind of Windows 101 to put a link on your iPhone or your obviously that's iOS or your laptop or anything like that, I kind of like to show people an easy way to do it. So when you first type in your URL and you log into the system itself, so the very first time you're logging into your CRM, when you log in with your user ID and password, it'll pop open your CRM right here. So there it is. And an easy way to actually go ahead and get it as a shortcut on your desktop, it is simply drag and drop this icon, which will show up in your address bar, and just drag it right on your desktop. And it'll actually reopen it just because it's linking it right then. But now you'll always have this link on your desktop. I'm going to go ahead and delete this out because I already have one on mine and just jump back into the system. So when you first sign into CRM, it's going to go to your default homepage. It might look different for you, whatever version of CRM you're using, because this can all be customized. This is simply the kind of default homepage I have for my demo environment, and it's a dashboard right here. But a few basics of maneuvering CRM, and these few basic items will really get you to 90% of whatever you're looking for in the system. So the first thing I always talk about when maneuvering through CRM is this global search box right here. This global search box will search across any of the chosen entities that you have decided should be searched. For example, it's usually things like leads, clients, employees, contacts, stuff like that, and that can be adjusted. But based upon whatever criteria you've chosen to search across, whatever word I type in there will do a global search across the system. So for example, if I type in just part of a client name, it's a client that I'm running payroll for in Darwin, in my back office. It's going to show me everything related to that client right here in this global search. So here is the client itself. I have one client that has Harry the name, all the contacts associated with that client, any open opportunities, other sales I might be having with that client, activities I've had with that client, emails and phone calls and things like that, and all the worksite employees that I'm running payroll for that are associated with that client are all on this one screen. So then, of course, I can access the actual information. So by simply clicking on the client, here's everything about the client on one screen. So this is, once again, it's synchronized with the back office. So when something changes in Darwin, it's automatically updated out here. Which you'll see in some other videos can really be useful for things like workflow. Once I'm on a screen, in this case a client, doesn't matter if it's a client, an employee, or contact, the screens kind of all work the same way. The screens have a form. The form is just the view of the data right here. And you can kind of scroll through the form if you want to, or you can use this little try bar, or kind of the internet term is a hamburger, to actually see the form sections. These are tabs or form sections here. And these are the same things either way. It's just an ability to jump to something quickly. So if I wanted to actually see the divisions associated with this client, I can jump to that and open up a division right here. Or I can simply scroll through the form and open up any of the different tabs and see the same information here. The tabs just give you the ability to expand and collapse data, so if there's lots of data on the screen, we can make sure we can see what we want to see in the system. Once again, this is the data that's coming directly over from Darwin in the system itself. So I kind of think of the form itself as the setup screen, and those of you familiar with Darwin, it's kind of like the client maintenance screen, kind of the setup screen there. Now at the top of the screen, you'll notice there's something called the Breadcrumb Trail here. And it's taken us, it says, okay, you're in the workplace in the client section, and you're looking at specifically this client, Harry's Side Running Boards. And there's little drop-down arrows next to each one of these things. And this is kind of what I call the one-to-manys. So if I'm looking at Harry's Side running boards and I want to see everything associated with Harry's Side running boards, I can click this drop-down list. And here are all the items, whether they're coming, whether I'm storing from CRM or they've come over from Darwin, such as all the employees that are kind of, like I said, the one-to-manys. So one client has many employees. One client has many invoices. You know, down here I can actually see something like one client has many emails. So if you're using the Outlook plugin, you can actually track all the emails that are going back and forth between your clients and employees. Or if I just wanted to see all the employees that work for this client, I can click on employees and it'll be a listing of all the employees that work for this client. So whenever I'm looking at a list of things right here, I can of course open up any of these items. Now, just one kind of tip, whenever I'm looking at a list of something, say for example, I want to see Kevin Smith. Well, there's a blue highlighted word here, and you'll see that oftentimes in views. Just realize if I'm trying to open up this Kevin Smith record, and I click on this, that actually is a hyperlink back to the client record, Harry's Side running boards. So whenever you want to open up something on the screen, you simply select it, and I can either double click anywhere on this kind of white space as I described it, or you can click this edit button if you wanted to. But if I simply just double click anywhere, it's going to open up Kevin Smith's record in the system. So I'll be able to see everything about Kevin Smith. And you'll notice at the top, once Kevin's opened up, the breadcrumb trail has changed of where you are. Workplace employees Kevin Smith. Here's everything about Kevin Smith. And like I said, just like the client screen, the form and sections work just the same way. Now, your form might look a little differently because, once again, CRM can be customized, but the basic idea of maneuvering through the system works the same way in the system. So here's the basic employee setup information that came over from Darwin. And once again, if I go to the top, I can see the one-to-manys. So here's Kevin Smith. Maybe I want to see all the checks for Kevin Smith. I simply click on check history, and here's, when Kevin doesn't have any checks, but any checks associated with Kevin, any emails associated with Kevin I can find here, and all of his HR information will be right there in the system. So once again, the easiest way to find things is simply search here. So once again, if I was searching for an employee, I can type an employee name here and say, okay, here's an employee, here's James Winton in the system. And I know James has checks, so I can go to James' record and I can see all of his checks that I've ever paid him. So I can see his checks, I can sort by any of these columns, I can go to his most recent check, his oldest check, etc. So I can see all that information right here from the system itself. And once again, I can double click here and open up the information about that particular check record. So whenever you're first learning CRM, easiest way to find things is global search. Search across leads, clients, employees if you've chosen them as an entity, etc. in the system itself. Now, kind of the more formal way to maneuver through CRM is through this menu structure I've kind of been referencing. So, first of all, just starting with this big Microsoft Dynamics CRM button. When I click that, as you kind of see from the pop-up, it just goes to my preferred home page. So it takes me home, the starting point of where we first logged in. In this case, it was a dashboard. And whenever I'm in a section, there's always a list of things right here. This is a view list. And so in the dashboard section, it's just going to show me all the potential dashboards that I have. My personal dashboards I've created, and kind of the out-of-the-box dashboards that come with the system. So I can choose all my different dashboards, anything I want here. But I might, when I sign into the system, if I'm a salesperson, I might say I want to see leads. If I'm a customer service rep, I might want to see clients. So you can customize what this first screen is. So that's every time you click this home button, it'll take you back to your home screen. So to do that, you simply click this gear icon over here next to your user. And when you click on that, you'll get an options tab. And by clicking on options, the first thing that's up there, it says, what default pane do you want to start with? Workplace contains most of the things that people will want. And then what default screen would you want? If workplace is too confusing, I could also go into the sub areas. For example, if I go into sales, I'll have access to clients, leads, contacts, and all those things. So I might say, you know what, I want to be in the client screen. So simply choosing that to sales and that to clients, if I click on OK, from now on, whenever I sign into the system or whenever I click that home button, I will now automatically be taken to my client screen, a list of clients actually. So if I click on this now, I'm now going to get a list. Oops, maybe I didn't save. Hang on. Oh, I don't think I saved that. Let me save it this time. There we go. So there's now my list of clients right here. Accounts and clients are interchangeable terms. So these are all the clients. There's Harry's Side Running Boards that we talked about before, all my list of clients. And once again, if I want to see different views of these clients, these are all the different clients. Maybe I want to see all the clients that are in Ohio or something like that. So I've got a view list here. So now I've changed my home page to be something more specific to me. And every time I sign into the system, let's go ahead and do that right now, I'll now be automatically taken to that list of clients as opposed to that dashboard that I initially started with. So that's basic maneuvering from using the home page, changing that in the actual search item over here. Now finally, if I click this tri-bar or hamburger right here, I'll get a drop down of kind of the different functional areas of the system. So this is a good area just to kind of explore when you're first learning CRM. If I click on workplace, kind of all the common things that I work with here, such as, clients, things like that. Once again, that'll be customized based upon what you use. My sales area is clients, leads, all those types of things here in the system. Marketing, service cases, things like that. But wherever I end up, if I go to sales and clients, just like I was here, you can see the Breadcrumb Trail replicates that. And if I click on this, I'll get a recently viewed list of items. So these are the clients I most recently have looked at. So if I wanted to go right back to a client that I recently used, I can use that, or I can simply search for the client here. So if I just open up that particular client, I can either pop that out or appear on the screen, and that'll be the client that I'm particularly looking at that point. Now finally, that's the Breadcrumb Trail. One other popular way to find things is this history icon. It's an overlooked icon, but it's really powerful. It's a clock. And what it's going to show is, it's going to show recently viewed records and recently viewed views, obviously, in the system. So views are lists of items. So you notice that active accounts in Ohio is listed right there because it said, oh, by the way, you were just there. Maybe you want to go back there. In software, lots of times, you're constantly going back to the same things over and over again. So this will really reflect that. So if I'm using Harry's Side Running Boards a lot, it'll say you're there a lot. You're there with that record a lot. You're with James Winton a lot. Remember, we were with Kevin Smith a few minutes ago. So by using this clock icon, it's really easy to go back and forth between two records that might be unrelated that you need to keep looking at, or you realize, okay, I'm constantly using Harry's Side Running Boards. I've been working with them a lot lately because we've got some issues with them or something. When I want to go in and see all the service cases we have with them currently, this clock icon is a really easy way to use the system. So the whole idea of this video is, without having to know a lot about CRM, you can easily get to what you're looking for. Once again, to kind of reiterate, my best advice is when you first come into CRM and need to find something, use your global search. If not, then try to kind of go through the tri-bar and be logical about what you're looking for in the system. Well, thanks for the time to watch this short video, and there'll be more coming.